Welcome to another Tag Team Talent Search podcast, the podcast that focuses on talent from around the world. And here's the guy that's produced live and television entertainment for the last 40 years, and he's going to be the host of the show, for goodness sakes. Here he is, Scott Edwards.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Tag Team Talent Podcast. We have some great videos to share with you today. Tag team means I have a co-host. Say hi, Bob Stobener.
Hi, Bob Stobener, and you are Scott Edwards.
Your host and MC, Scott Edwards. Bob and I go way back. We've been doing businesses together since we were kids, and during the comedy days, he was my partner at the comedy clubs and helped produce concerts, TV series, and a lot of where these videos come from.
A lot of where these videos come from.
Well, at least the classic rewinds. The first videos are actually recent videos of people doing the variety arts talent from around the world, and we're so happy that they sent them in and we're able to showcase them here today on the Tag Team Talent Podcast. Yep. So let's jump into it.
Oh, we will.
Our first entertainer.
Can I instate something? Mm-hmm. We're going to show 3 videos. We want the audience to comment and tell us which one they like the best, and the video that gets the most votes in the comments
wins
something. Wins our adulation.
And admiration. We'll send them something.
Well, yeah.
And if you're out there and you have some talent, send us your video. Go to www.tagteamtalentsearch.com. Tagteamtalentsearch.com. Send us your video and we'll share your talents on this podcast. But let's get into it and show people what we're talking about.
All right.
We're going to start off with a great video of a very good friend of mine. He's one of the cleanest and funniest comics out of Northern California. He is Steve Bruner. And he performs at clubs all over the country, does a lot of cruise ships, has done a lot of television. In fact, he has his own dry bar comedy special. If you get a chance, check it out. But let's see and listen to a little stand-up comedy by my good friend, Steve Bruner.
Fabulous Steve Bruner.
Oh, and a good day for comedy. You picked a good one. I got to tell you, I don't know if anybody saw in the paper today that a guy caught a fish they thought was extinct, and now they're sure.
We caught the last one.
All I had to do was write that down. You gotta love that. Great job being a comedian. I know there are tough jobs out there. I saw a Western not too long ago, one of these things where the cavalry comes in to save the day. I realized one of the hardest jobs in the entire world had to be the bugler in the cavalry. He led every single charge into battle. If there's anything you don't want to be, it's a target that makes a lot of noise. He's just leading his friends right into the fray, playing his little tune. What were the words of this song? I'm over here without a gun. Shoot me first before I run. Tough jobs are everywhere. Believe me, I think it's got to be a tough job to be airline pilot. Probably every single airline pilot, especially the people I flew in on. I think it was American Airlines. They had the worst slogan I've ever heard. It's American Airlines, we go that extra mile. I don't want to be sitting in the middle of a wheat field somewhere. Hey, I think the airport's back that way. You missed it by a mile. I don't mean to whine, but that is a serious hike to baggage claim. I'm gonna have to take Southwest from here to there. I better get a frequent walker mile for this. It's only like a 2-hour flight, I think, from LA to Salt Lake City. It's not the length of time really that ever bothers me. What always bothers me is no matter what flight you're on, the pilot will not stop talking. Anybody care how high they fly? No, but 10 minutes every flight you ever been on, always hear the same announcement. And gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We've reached cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. Who cares? As long as we're above 0.
So true.
The definition of flight. That's all we really need. I think if he's going to say something, It should have to be, by law, exciting. The most exciting thing you've ever heard in your entire... Gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're not cleared for takeoff, but we're going for it anyway.
Oh, man. That was Steve Bruner. He's so funny.
Bruner does a great job.
You know, and what's great is, this is a recent video he just did a few months ago. He is so clean, so funny, and is just amazing to see people have that funny that they can share with audiences night after night.
Real clever stuff. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, and what's interesting is he takes something, you know, fairly simplistic, like, hey, we go that extra mile, and extrapolates it to so many funny aspects. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We want to thank Steve Bruner, my good friend, for sending in the video. Thanks. And if you're interested, go to the Googler. He's available for conventions, corporates, private parties, you name it. Does cruise ships, clubs. He's got his own dry bar comedy special. Steve Bruner, be sure to check him out. You can probably go to stevebruner.com.
Speaking of Steve Bruner, I just realized you put the letters onto the back of every internet website, don't you? The YouTube the Googler, the Amazon
And his name's Steve
Bruner.
I
just caught that.
Our second video today is also recently recorded by a good friend of mine out of Tennessee. It's a little bit of Southern comedy for you. Ever been to the South?
South Sacramento?
No, we're talking the deep South, Tennessee, South Carolina, that area.
Actually, they're wonderful people.
He is a terrific guy. He used to be part of a comedy team called Mack and Jamie.
Oh,
you remember them?
Mack and Jamie.
They had their own TV show for many years. Done tons of television.
Jamie Alcroft and Mack Dryden.
Yes.
Are you telling me we have Mack Dryden and a video up next?
We do. He's now solo.
What? Oh, for God's sake.
And he's not only performing stand-up comedy and private gigs, but he's also doing a little acting in plays and stuff.
Great.
But he sent us this video. We want to share it with you. So sit back and enjoy a little stand-up comedy by our good friend, Mack Dryden.
Woo, woo.
28 years ago this week, I married my final wife.
Thank you. Good way to put it.
I had a practice wife. Now, she had health issues. She had irritable bowel syndrome that spread to her entire personality. Just before we tied the knot, she reminded me that men and women have very different needs. You know, for example, she taught me that she needs more calcium and iron, time in the bathroom, heart-to-heart communication, hand-holding, hand-wringing, hand lotion, ointments, unguents, emollients, cotton balls, phone time with her mother, lipstick, lip gloss, lip balm, lip liner, shoes for every imaginable occasion, and some I just can't even imagine. She needs more products to care for her hair and eyes and lips and skin and fingernails and toenails and cracked heels and exfoliation supplies. Constant assurance that her butt is exactly the right size. She needs more candles and mirrors and picture frames and little glass and porcelain things made of gold, silk, and wicker.
Wicker.
Detailed information about the neighbors' personal lives. She needs more matching accessories and baskets and loofahs and potpourri and dozens of pretty little boxes with nothing in them and an occasional back rub that is limited strictly to the back and... That's all she needs. Thank goodness we have our wives who give so generously of their time and energy to constantly coach us as to how we should groom ourselves and dress and walk and sit and breathe and stand still and drive and eat and drink and talk. You know, just the things we do when we're awake.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was
great.
my good friend Mack Dryden talking about his first marriage and his first and yet apparently challenging wife.
Yeah.
But it was very funny and great to see him back on stage. You know, as a comedy team, Mack and Jamie had huge success. But
so
him
great.
going out solo at his elder years, I don't mean to age him, but he is close to our age, if not a little older. And to see him out still doing some acting and comedy stage work is
That's
really
great.
cool.
That's really great.
And some funny stuff that we can all relate to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my wife is not like that at all.
No,
but they're out
I
there.
have no idea what he's talking about.
We're saying that Kate's our wives.
Yeah.
Wives. Hey, tell you
let's
what.
go to the next one.
Yeah, on our Tag Team Talent podcast, we always like to share something from our past when we used to produce TV shows, concerts, and live stage shows. So we call it Classic Rewind, and today's Classic Rewind is a very talented guy you're sure to recognize. He was a star on Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
Yes, he's
impressive.
a comic, a musician, an impressionist, an all-round great guy.
A great guy. Good friend of ours.
Tons of television and several movies.
Yeah.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, our good friend Dana Carvey.
Dana.
We have an old classic rewind video of Dana live on our stage. Let's share it with the audience.
All right.
Here we go.
But I finally did get a wife. I finally grew up and I have a wife now. I met my wife when she was 18. I raised her as one of my own. No, have you ever gone out with someone a lot younger than you and you have to explain recent history to them? Isn't it embarrassing? Honey, they were called the Beatles. There were 4 of them.
They were very good.
They were really good.
Don't do his lines.
What do you mean? Yeah, you don't like the Beatles? What? This is weird. Yeah, they suck, man. They only had like one good song.
There was a heckler in the front row during the tape.
You don't like the Beatles? You've got to like the Beatles. They're the greatest. You've got to like a Liverpool accent because everything's a question. How are you? I don't know. I'm a Liverpoolian. Everything's a fucking question, you know. Thanks for bringing that up. That was very special. It's been a tight, nice little set, hasn't it? Okay. What time am I now? You know you're not doing too well when the guy says, we don't really care in the booth, man. You're fine. You're already in Edit City, dude. Let it happen, man. Yeah. We're gonna... I'll be on TV. So good evening. I had a wife, Paul McCartney. It was rough, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, it was rough. As a kid, my parents used to have parties. It used to scare the hell out of me. You know, didn't they? When you were a kid, because you didn't know why the adults were acting so weird. You didn't know what alcohol was. You know, you're put to bed early. Me and my brother Scott, we're in our room. It's like 6:30 in the evening. We're wide awake. We're in our Roy Rogers pajamas, listening to this weird adult party. My brother says, God, they're acting real weird, Dana. And I said, do you think they'll ever be normal again? You know, and I run out there and I see my mom lifting her dress up. Party! I run back in, they're acting real strange, Scott. I run out again. You know, my mom's been drinking, her voice is different. I didn't know what it meant. She walks up to me and her voice is slurred. She goes, go back to bed, honey. I mean, I thought it was a game. I said, okay, Bob. I run back in, I sound like Dudley Moore. It's so weird out there, I don't believe it. It's weird. And we run back out, my Uncle Rock grabbed on a dance rumba tray with all these drunken adults at 3 a.m. Roy Rogers pajamas. My brother says, I hope I never grow up, man. I said, isn't fun the best thing ever? You guys have been great. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you.
Oh, he was a regular at our club for so many years,
yeah.
and then he kind of went on to fame and fortune. But that video brings back so many memories, and sadly, you and I could actually do a lot of the bit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think, but no, Dana was one of the best. It was always great to have him.
And that was for our TV show Live at Laughs, and great to have him at the club on the TV show, and great to share him here on Tag Team Talent Podcast. Hey, Bob, we had Steve Bruner, Mack Dryden, and Dana Carvey. I hope you enjoyed the show today.
I had a great time today.
What should people do if they enjoyed the videos?
Well, if you enjoyed the videos, any one of them, pick one, write it in the comments, tell us which one you liked, and we'll add up all the results. All the tabulations will be done.
And they win
by absolutely nothing. But we'll
bring them back or something. But we haven't quite figured it out. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like us, share us, and if you get a chance, comment. We appreciate you joining us on Tag Team Talent Podcast. We'll be back next week with 3 more videos. Thanks to my co-host, Bob.
Well, thank you, Scott, for having me. It's been great.
Be sure to check out my podcast, Stand-Up Comedy, my audio podcast. Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. And we'll be back with Tag Team Talent Video Podcast next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my phone's ringing. Bye. Thanks for watching the Tag Team Talent Search Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss the next big talent reveal. And don't forget to write in the comments below which performer you thought was best in this episode. We love hearing from you. See you soon.